Má có nhớ con không? Nhớ con sao?
Tại vì 49 đó là 50. 50 hả? Ừ. 50 á là 40. Tại vì chừng nào ai mà 50 á là 40 á là đó có được 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 là cái gì á con không biết. Tại vì nếu mẹ mẹ có 11, 49 á là được 200, 300, 400. Mà 400 á là được 53 thôi. Tại vì chủ ngữ á là 39, 45, 28, 27, 46, 92, 91, 98, 99, 95. Tại vì cái con mũ á là có được 49. Mà chừng nào mấy cái đó được cái DSLG á là được có 49 à. Mà 49 là bao nhiêu? Tại vì 49 đâu phải bao nhiêu đâu. Tại vì nếu được cái DPG á là em lũ được có 33, 44, 67, 89. Tại vì cái Plexi á là cái network of the aura. Kind of. Fantasia, I told you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Mate, I don't know. Anyway. But anyway, the consumption of a timer based upon the influence of the third amount of technology is the data of the position, because italakasan koton is nakanam to the man that ran away. You're not an Aussie, you're Italian. But anyway, Sunday afternoon is an inflon in relation to the deflacker, because the deflacker based upon the insertion of the third party by the rope to the tree. But the missing person based on the rope to the tree is not accounted as yet, as later on we will formulate the next question of my uncle the devil. But the she has gone on, because maturely the network of the aura will position itself into the compliance of its own third party. Because of its own third party, the Onkonkon is an neglection, yes, of France. So, did not give you the tweeter. Who's that dude? But anyway, based upon the third amount of your policy, the blessing of law is the intuition of your mind, and also the conference into the network of the aura, because the network of the aura is the instrument in relation to the Balakasan, because the Balakasan, I kind of feel sorry for you as well, because you're looking for jobs. Is that internal affair, or my grandma who gave me the original statue smiled at me and gave me, not that. But anyway, it doesn't really bother me in relation to your hospitality as well as making the fluxion, because when you do that, being the collection of law is an intrasha of the third amount of developer. But Sydney, the insurance company is not an alignment, because in that way, how can each coffin of the policeman is the Eton of state? But in each state you have one, right? So how you know how to compare? Hmm? And so in each country you do have them. So the state government will actually roughshod itself into the deflection, because the deflection of your weekly wage for your third party accumulantan in relation to sector 3. So in that way, oh, I'm gonna smell onions. In that way, if the conference can only mature itself into its own availability, is that the Blakatan is the law. But in that way, when you can sequel into the amount of time You can also data the third amount of proposal because the police song. No, that's not what it is. It is the caution of your law. Because within your law, the intellectual insurance policy is the caution. Oops. Oh, I had enough. But anyway, in relation to your inflation, the network of the Ongsang Sasang is the saturation of the solar invocation. Because the solar invocation, oh, not there yet. So in that time, once we know how to subluxan the equation, we will work out your own weekly wage for its third-party insurance. Because in that way, if there is no way to sansan the system of the animal, we cannot program the data in relation to the Palakasa. Because in that way, if we can auction the Nankanai, we will perform ourselves into the animal. Because the CBUS, is that your insurance company or something? The CBUS based upon Sisana, we will also perform the network of the Ontong. Because your reference number based upon your own way, you will equation the system of a formanum. Oh no, I'm 41 years old and in the past I meet a lot of them. Oh god. Because my dad used to be a anyway, my dad's old. My mum and my dad's gonna pass. Oh, I know. Never mind. Things happen, eh? People. So I hope I'm helpful to you guys to understand the unique system as well as the formulation to your own production of your service that you provide to the government and sharing into your own availability. Because in that way, when we know how to sequel, the application form for the track system based upon interstate. Oh, wait a minute. State by state is just state by state, right? But what is interstate? Because last time it was clockwise and anti-clockwise, but based upon interstate, not Darwin, but oh no, next time. In Darwin, there is a lot of Aboriginal. Yes, there's a lot of Aboriginal and also Papua New Guinea. So it will take me time to help the interstate in relation to Papua New Guinea and also to formulate into the next formula, because into the next formula in relation to Papua New Guinea, the addition of Mother Teresa will actually flat from its latitude. So when it does that, when you remap the GO5326 and GO3549, it will vary into the transmission of the order. Because in that time, once we work out the percentages of its own value, we can validate into CSS 3.6 and CSS 3.9. How is your website going? You know, well, whatever, please. But anyway, I used to have a look at it and stuff like that. But anyway, in relation to the third amount of your development, the adafang is actually the oxygen of the norm. So in relation to build the third amount of data, the Cori, based upon our solar system, we will present itself into the Blakism, because the laser is the tradition of law. Like so, maybe. But in a matter of time, once you know the instances of law, we can also transcend the system. Well, first of all, I'm not God. I'm nobody. I'm just Alan Lloyd, and I love learning. I'm not the creator, because Galicia and Papa is the main creator. They create the entire galaxy. They communicate to the alien because they don't like colors, or they don't know colors, something like that. And human was created by them. No, properly. So anyway, in relation to the internal affair of the coolant based upon the car engine, the transmission would ultrasound into the VTEC and also the hibernation of my computer system, because my computer system will path itself into the section of the physics and also to the question. I think the French guy is not gay, he's straight. He's good looking though. He's fine. So is Grant. How's Grant eaten? So anyway, the legacy of our law is that the black sun of Tasham, because manufacturing into the sequestration of your own Aplaban is that each barn is the creation of Eve. So in relation to each barn, the succession of our norm is the transla of the Kori, and to include the plexison. So the CTEC tuition is a Orlocaton by CA32 and CA41. The transson of the mono is that the plexison of the law is a sequenal of the application form to actually reflect itself into the solar panels. So based upon that way, the solar panel will equalize into the condition of mythology and also to sector number 632. And in that sector, we will supplement the anana. Because in that way, when we develop the third amount of technology, we will sequel into the amount of time and to apply for the application fee. Because in each time, the worker will actually, the worker will actually apply the succession. Because in that time, once we measure the complexity of the network, we can split the system into the transla. Because the transla will be measured into the blockchain. Sorry. And in that way, when we sequence the application form, we will remember the fifth element in relation to police army and to Guardia, the relationship. Like so. So in that way, when we know the development of the third amount of data core, the position of the data core will actually be remeasured in the Nasasnam. Because the manuscript will actually blick them into which way? Poto. So, our muscle of fiber, eat well, drink well. But in that time, our dead bone is what? Cremated. And in the life of us span, we can also sector the 11th position of a timer and also to delay the reference number into the application form. Because in that way, once we know the translation, we will manuscription the system of solar system. You will love it because the solar system in this galaxy is amazing. But in time, once we get connection to the other galaxy, we will rework into the reflection of the Dilam. Because in that time, once we know the aura, we will position ourselves into distant data. Because in that way, once we work out the Kori in relation to our development of the third amount of data, we will position ourselves into the Kori and the position of rotation. Because in the manner of time, when we know the intersection, we will also guardia the relationship. But in the timer of phase, we will present ourselves into the antiphon. Because in this way, when we develop the third amount of switch swap sasan, we will tessasa the total. But each position of that is the complexity of the network and to its own aura. And to its own aura, and in its own aura, we will position ourselves into the compliance of the third party, fifth ally, and also Kurshashon. Which means the conference of our maturity to understand the network of our own summon. What is a summon in relation to our way of knowing that our weekly wage is only the valuation of what percent by Nick Kelly? What's this? Yeah. I'm a white soul. So one day I meet someone that see? Oh, forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah, mate. How are ya? Anyway, the percentages of its valuation is that when you aluminum the tesasanan, the data of the quarry will actually blockation the law in relation to a praksasa. Because the praksasa of a law is that why do you darsan the badge? Are you like this? Maybe you used to be. I see things. Well, mate, I'm not God, I'm not the creator. I'm just nobody. I'm just Alan Lloyd. And I love learning. And then all of a sudden, you know, when I grew up with my mom, there was a plant that a digital flower came out from the original statue. Yeah. Anyway, in the timer of the ecosystem, we need the development of the third amount of technology is that the compliance of each blocks, because compliance of each blocks is that the function of the blocks is that based upon the transition, because based upon the transition is that the occlusion will law itself into the mandasam, because deshisha toton. How is that guy going? He started the kindergarten and he was driving Ferrari on the news. I hope you are well. In that time, the position of our embryo, the one we born into the rakasham, it's been created. Humans has been created, but based upon the reaper, etc., etc. I don't know. But anyway, the center of the program with Doshi, the Galicia in relationship or crime. Yes. So in a matter of time, when you comply with the network, the fifth dimension is the plexi of the parama. So, CIA, the parama induction. Do you? No, that's too common. Right. But in relation to the movie tape, how is your Versaton to be like this? Don't know. But being an actor and an actress in relation to your movie teller, the deforestation of the helicopter is an occasion. It will interstate into the phone. See? Zong? Chata-san, Jishang-na-sa-chi, Jensen-ta, Jishang-na-ka-shin. Ouch. I don't know how to use that. So that's Professor Jenny Pongsford for Saint Joan of Arc. So in that way, when we review the teleport, we will position ourselves into the compliance of its own charm, because my white soul. I know you're straight. Do I act gay? Of course not. Oh, whatever, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. But anyway, the confunction of the time is that once we sequel into the application form, we will manufacture the third amount of degree in relation to the sun element, because the sun element based upon the Ichuka is that the water chemistry will be plexation. So in the country town, the Tishashan or the Pala is the Thrishashan of law in relation to the pH level and also the consumption of time. So the plexasan of law is the Chishan. In that way, if there is a third development of anything, we will guard the relationship in relation to Eden and to share our poster. But we got to be aware, because based on a poster, we waste our money. Yes.
To what? To.
But based up, I'm not gonna say anything. Ask Alicia.
Then in that way, when you
Validation is based upon the instrument of knowing
that the God system will flacon.
this is the different part of. So in the different, yeah, part of.
Yeah.
So in that time, when we know how to guardian the relationship based upon the crisscross to element the discussion, the sun of the timer will signal into the anti-sun, the transition end. No.
Thank you for the word song.